All right. So anyway, Artemis is the rocket that took off from where did it take off from? Kennedy Air Space Station or something like that. And of course, it blasted off today, which, to tell people you're going to the moon and then you do it on April Fool's Day, is anybody going to believe that? Right? Does anybody believe that we even went to the moon in the first place? Now, there's a lot of people out here that say, hey, Dolly, I believe that the moon landing was real. And some of it believe it was shot in a Hollywood basement and that the whole moon landing itself is completely fake. Right? Now, like I said, why would you need to go to the moon and orbit the moon? That's what they're doing, to look for future landing spots. Right? Why don't we just land in the same place? They can take the same little Jeep, right? And ride around on the moon. To me, it is absolutely crazy. I'm one of those people that never ever believed that the moon landing was real. Okay. Palm Beach Pete was driving the shuttle. Okay. Palm Beach Pete was driving the shuttle. ET phone home. Everybody got jokes tonight, right? Everybody. And you think I'm lying to you and I'm playing an April Fool's joke on you, but I absolutely am not. This rocket took off today. Matter of fact, I am going to show some videos of this rocket taking off. Let me pull this up so y'all can watch it yourselves. And so you don't think I'm pulling some little April Fool's joke on you, but why they chose today to do it is completely beyond me. Okay, it's completely beyond me. Let me add this to the stage.
See the moon in the camera, and now I see.
Oh, I think this is live.
Camera field of view. Okay, wait.
Hold on.
Waiting for 550. I'm on the THC. There's 550. Starting in the 19. I'm showing about 3 degrees wide on ICPS, and it's holding right near the center.
Integrity, no action for you on that enable prop caution.
No action. All right, still waiting on the 19 inch to burn out. Thrusters are still fine. We've got a little rumble. It's like driving on a rocky road. All right.
It just seems so like driving on a rocky road.
Okay, I see about 2.6 degrees wide on ICPS.
Let me see if I got the video of the rocket actually taking off.
2.6.
4.
Oh, I got it right here. Let me pause this. Let me bring this over. This is the Artemis taking off today.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Didn't we already do this? Am I living in a parallel universe?
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on board 8 engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis.
Supersonic.
Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
How's it going to go through the firmament? What about the Van Allen radiation belt?
1 minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time. Standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%. Ahead of solid rocket booster separation. Expected at the 2 minute 9 second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engine's throttling up. Guidance converged.
Okay. So you see there is a rocket that was launched on April Fool's Day to go orbit
Perhaps we've
the
lost
moon.
our connection to the mission control there. But 3 words for this moment. Wow, wow, wow.
Incredible.
Truly
I don't know
is.
if that's what I was thinking.
I know the
Wow,
rocket
wow,
turns
wow.
off 8 minutes after liftoff here, so I believe that's what they were last talking about. But the last time this has happened, Artemis 1 in 2022, the launch happened in the
3
dark.
minutes into the flight.
Oh, there we
Integrity
go.
49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange. Now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
It's real, your friend that's on the spaceship? 3 words. Fake, fake, fake. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes.
Standing by for launch support system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view. Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02. We see the same on board, Stan.
This is
Loud and
Conspiracy
clear
Channel
on
tonight,
common
huh?
line. Outstanding, Stan, we have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis 2, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
No, they're going to be rotating the moon, orbiting the moon for a couple days, and then it's coming back. Make sure you hit the like button if you're coming in. There's 420 of you in the room. Now, tonight, of course, we're going to be discussing, is this real? Are they really going to the
And we do
moon?
understand
Or
in
is this
moment when
another
the
big
engines of the
hoax
Artemis
like
2 rocket cut off
the
at about 8
Apollo
minutes
landing that
after
some people
liftoff.
believe is fake?
Integrity, GPS processing.
The rockets went into the
That's when the
ocean.
crew will reach their weightlessness.
Outstanding, Stan, we see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
It looks CGI-ish. I don't know. Is it
Approaching 5
real?
minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he can pass
Space is the
visuals of his
ocean.
destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
I'm not saying the launch of the rocket's fake. I'm saying what the rocket's doing, I believe to be fake.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission.
Okay, my producer just came in. What's up, producer?
Yeah, because this was my topic. I'm the one that wanted to discuss this because I'm fascinated at how many times people can be lied to and still 150% believe everything. Yes, they saw a rocket go up. Did you see the people get onto the rocket? How do we know the people are even on the rocket?
We don't know the people are on the rocket. We do know a rocket was launched because it was seen.
Right.
Right, but is it going to circle the moon?
Right.
And is there people on this thing?
Right. Because all this stuff, they have satellites out where you can look at the planets and whatnot, and it literally says in small print that it's not actual imagery, that it's like CGI. So like everything they've been showing you is not real. So at what point did it now become real?
Now, if somebody eventually walks on the moon, I mean, I had to say the technology we have today is a lot better.
We can get through the radiation belt.
Well, I mean, we have better ways of dealing with radiation now than we did in 1969.
We found the directions after we lost them.
I mean, the trajectory the angle you have to fly at.
It just happens to be April Fool's.
Because when here's the thing, people always wondered back in 1969 how we had enough fuel to get to the moon. When you're in space, you don't need fuel because once it's moving, an object in motion stays in motion. There's nothing to stop it from moving.
No, I understand.
So they use thrusters to slow it down.
That part doesn't. Fine, but
if they shoot towards the moon,
radiation.
They don't have no way to direct the ship, and it'll overshoot the moon. That's what they say they were worried about when they went back to the moon, is overshooting the moon, because the Earth was in perfect alignment with the moon when they launched to go to the moon. That's the reason they didn't overshoot the moon. So they're technically not using a bunch of fuel to go to the moon. They use the fuel to get through gravity, and once they pass the gravity, they don't need the fuel anymore.
So if part of the story is a lie, and they just padded it a little to make it seem believable, then why did, like, in my brain, there's no fuel. There's literally, like, they never went. This time around, it's possible they went. We saw it launch.
Other countries have said they went too, like
too.
China, and there's other countries that said they have orbited the moon, not just America. Russia struck the moon with a missile.
And it didn't explode?
No, it rang like a bell for like 4 hours or something like that. They also crashed a rocket into the moon with monkeys on it. The first cosmonauts were monkeys.
Can I sell you a bridge?
I'm just saying what they tell you. I'm not saying that it's a fact. I'm just saying what NASA says.
Right, but with AI now and so much misinformation before, how do you fact check any of that?
How do we fact check the point? I mean, I don't think, technology has gotten so much better since 1969. I believe we would have the technology now to go to the moon. I mean, we damn near cloning people. We're creating robots.
Cloning people.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, our technology has advanced in the last 20 years. We've gained like 100 years of technology. That's why so many people believe they're back engineering alien technology, is because our technology's got so far in advance, so fast. But I think that's one to do with the internet and people being connected, so you're able to study and research faster and create better technology at a quicker pace. Okay, what do you want to tap in on this and say?
No, I mean, it's very hard for me to believe that we got through the radiation belt, because just feels like 10 years ago, which clearly you're right. We've gotten through so much and become so much more civilized with AI, with CGI, and at this point in time, you don't even know what's real and what's not that happened on the street.
Well, let me explain this though, because I'm just playing a devil's advocate. In 1969, they faked the moon landing because they wanted Russia to know that, hey, we can strike you at any place with our missiles.
I get that.
It was the Cold War, so it was the space race, right? And the space race was just to show people who had the stronger missiles, IBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Mm-hmm. Okay, so America lied, said we went to the moon, but we really didn't.
Right.
Okay, what reason today does America have to lie to say we're going to the moon, to circle the moon?
If they lied, then why wouldn't they lie now?
But what reason would they waste? Why would they shoot that rocket up and spend $1 million on fuel, or how many ever millions of dollars?
People at NASA get paid like $6 billion.
I know.
They got to show they're doing
something. Why even build the rockets?
And then on April Fool's?
I mean, I know they picked a crazy day, but
it's not a crazy day. It's just looking at you.
What reason today, in the civilization we live in today, what reason would they have to lie to us now?
I don't know. Didn't somebody else say they were going to the moon recently? Are we in a competition somehow?
I don't think we're in no competition to go to the moon anymore, because they send it out to businesses where you can build your own spaceship and go to the fucking moon. They don't care anymore. I mean, because you ask people why they would go to the moon, there's nothing there. But now they realize
the moon, though? We have
back in the day, they didn't have the technology to use what was on the moon. The moon is loaded with helium-3, which now will be the fuel that fuels rockets. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now they would have a reason to go to the moon to mine helium-3. in 69, they had no use for helium-3 because they didn't have the technology to use helium-3, but now they do. So the
Now they need
future
it.
of rocket and space travel is already there on the moon
How do they know that?
because they've been to the moon and took samples
When did they go to the moon?
in 1969, allegedly. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Your whole basis of the whole story is not. In my
I mean,
opinion,
you
it's
can
not
say
real.
Stanley Kubrick, you know,
He confessed to making the filming of the movie, and when you
but
I included the land. Play that video next, please, and I'll shut up. Literally, there's a film crew on the moon recording it for you while they're taking off from the
one
moon.
of my biggest things was the phone call to Nixon, and they were calling from the moon, but I can't get reception down the street
Exactly.
in 2026, right? There are some things about it. Dolly, I think they sent a monkey up
That's what
to
he
the
said.
moon.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, originally the first astronauts were monkeys. And, you know, just like I was telling PJ today, is with the technology we got, why are we not sending unmanned spacecrafts and robots to the moon first? Why would you risk the life of men and women when you could send Optimus, you know, the Tesla robot to go to the moon? You know, we're allegedly putting out these robots in the next couple years that are humanoids. Why are we sending people? Like when people say, you know, there's aliens coming to the planet, right? My first thing is this. If you have that great of technology that you can travel through space, from time and space and through space, why would you send life forms to go look at a planet? You wouldn't. You would send robots. You would send unmanned planes, just like we're using now, drones and things like that, to take this. Because what if it crashes, right? Then you lose life, right? Or whatever alien beings on that craft. Why would you send that? You wouldn't. Like like if we was to go venture out into space, and I'm sure that will happen, and it's going to happen with robots, not with humans. You know, so how many of you guys, we got 500 people in the room right now, producer of Conspiracy. How many of y'all believe
people that lie?
How many of y'all, let's ask the chat. Let's see what the people out here
It's
think.
probably about 50-50.
How many of y'all think the moon landing was real? Press
wait, hold on.
1.
You got to break that up because the chat is saying they watched the rocket today. Clearly, I'm crazy, but I'm not saying the rocket today did not launch from the place that you saw it launch.
John F. Kennedy
Period.
Space Center, right?
What was that island you said?
It wasn't Cape Canaveral.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
That's what it said in the thing.
No, it's like John F. Kennedy.
That's what I literally added a video onto the list. It literally says.
No, it didn't. It didn't launch from Cape Canaveral. It launched from
Live watch NASA Artemis lift off Cape Canaveral.
Okay, hold on.
It's the second one on the list.
Where did the rocket launch from today? Kennedy Space Center.
On Cape Canaveral.
Okay, is it on Cape Canaveral?
Yes.
Launch site in Florida. Okay. East Coast near Cape Canaveral. Near Cape Canaveral. But it launched from the John F. Kennedy Space Center. All right. So we were both right.
Place. That's the same place. I know.
Okay.
It
So
literally says from the NASA site, lift off from Cape Canaveral. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
all right. So let me ask this one more time because y'all started putting letters in the chat without me looking. If you believe that we landed on the moon
In 1969.
in 1969, the Apollo 16, whatever it was, I want you to press 1. If you think all this is fake, I want you to press 2.
No, now you're. If you think all of it's fake, no. It's got to be separate.
No, the moon landing. If the moon
In
landing's fake,
1969.
9, press 2.
And then when you say all of it, they're connecting today's event.
2 if you think it's fake. We ain't talking today. We're talking 1969. There's people that are saying 1.
I know, see? It's about 50-50, like I said.
No, I don't think it's 50-50. I think there's way more 2s in the chat.
A bunch of 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I mean, it's split. I mean,
9,
that's crazy.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19,
Just think about this. This is
20.
one of the biggest events in human history, right? And people don't believe it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, a good majority. There's a lot of people that do believe it. Now, me, myself, I know this. And this is fact. This ain't nothing but fact. This cell phone right here in my hand has more technology in this cell phone, more processing power than the spaceship that took man to the moon. Ain't that crazy? And this is a prepaid Walmart phone. And it has more technology in this phone than the original ship that allegedly took man to the moon through the Van Allen radiation belt, through asteroids. You ever notice they never hit an asteroid, or there was never no debris in space or anything? And they were able to.
Right. Like, who's recording that?
They set up cameras.
In 1969.
Yeah, allegedly they set up cameras. Okay, let's jump back over here. We're going to take some calls on this in just a few minutes. All right. This is them getting.
We got a glimpse for a second of the crowd that's there, all of them with their phones. Imagine to try to record as much as they could. So amazing to see. I'm assuming you're around a bunch of people where you are too. I mean, what are they doing? I'm sure smiles across their faces.
Well, we know the rocket's real.
Right, nobody's saying
smiles all around. People have traveled from all over the country
that
to
looks
witness this
fake.
moment as well. And in many ways, it's a little bit
I've
of a
seen
gamble
video
when you
games that
decide
look
to
better
travel,
than
because
that.
We've seen plenty of launches. We've seen them get scrubbed plenty of times. You never know what can happen. So for people who came out here, some traveled as far as Iowa to witness this moment. So they were so happy that it happened. They were happy that it happened the day they said it was going to happen. But there was also this moment of everyone just sort of shaking hands and
Look, that's the
high-fiving.
spaceship they're in.
Obviously, we did not do anything.
It looks
to
like
make
a
this
lens
happen,
to a
but there's
camera.
Still this sense of unity for humanity as all of us are gathered here, and you feel this sense of pride as that rocket launched up into.
What about this, guys? Think about this. What about the Tesla that they launched into space? Y'all remember that? What was that? A couple years ago, that Elon Musk he launched a Tesla with a little spaceman in it, and he just let it float off into space. Does anybody know where that Tesla is? Let me ask ChatGPT.
Where is the Tesla in space? And see,
Hold on 1 second.
What I mean.
A while back, Elon Musk launched a Tesla with a little spaceman into space. Can you tell me where that spaceman and that Tesla is at in the universe now? Hold on, let's see if it knows.
The Tesla Roadster that SpaceX launched is orbiting the sun. Right now, it's about 288 million kilometers away from Earth. It has an elliptical orbit that crosses the orbit of Mars, but it won't enter Mars orbit. The car is expected to orbit the sun for millions of years, and there's a small chance it could hit Earth, Venus, or the sun far in the future.
Okay, so a car is going to crash into the Earth, Venus, or Mars.
Orbiting the sun.
It's orbiting the sun. Does anybody believe that? That shit looked super fake, right? It was just pitch black. It was nothing but a little astronaut man in a car. And I'm thinking, you launched a Tesla. And like I was telling PJ, me and PJ was riding down the street today, and I said, PJ, can you imagine being an alien and you flying in your ship through space, right? You just flying, listening to some Dr. Dre, you know what I'm saying? The Chronic, because you know that the aliens, they don't get our music for like years later, so they're kind of behind. They're still listening to 90s R&B and shit like that, and they're riding around, they're listening to Snoop and Dre, right, bumping the Chronic, and they look over and they see this Tesla flying with a little spaceman in it, okay, with a little spaceman in it. What do you think them aliens are going to think? What the hell is that, right? You know, so it's just kind of crazy to me. And like, I do think they try to feed us a bunch of bullshit and to see what people will believe. Okay. You know, for years they told us there's Bigfoot, you know, El Chupacabras, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, you name it. There's always been something that really Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, a lot of things that really don't exist that they want people to believe. It's just like folklore or something like that. So I've never been one to really think the moon landing was real. Okay, now I listened to the arguments. I've seen Buzz Aldrin say they didn't go, or but is that him being, just an a-hole because everybody says he didn't go, so now he's saying he didn't go, or did they really go? Because we got to remember this. Military technology is 20 to 50 years more advanced than what we see. So right now, they got laser beams that were like from the movie Star Wars, right? They got stuff like that. We don't see it, and we may not see it for the next 25 to 50 years until it's released into the general public. Like, you got to remember back in the day, we thought airplanes were just regular airplanes. And what was in the 80s, they had the stealth bomber. Everybody thought it was a UFO.
And they lied to us when we seen it.
Yeah, and then they would be like, yeah, that's an alien ship or something. You didn't see the stealth bomber. But technology was so much greater than what we knew it to be. Like, for the longest time, they had the World Wide Web. We just didn't have it. Okay? So a lot of this technology we're seeing, like microwaves, we've had everybody's microwaves are common, right? They had created the microwave a long, long time ago before that was ever even seen or in a household. They had the microwave technology. So what I'm saying is maybe their technology was a little bit greater according to ChatGPT. That's what ChatGPT says, that people think that the technology wasn't there in 69, but it was. They had cutting edge technology that now is common in the world, but then it just wasn't known of. Okay, so it could be either way. Maybe they did, but I don't think right now we have the technology to build a ship that carries a ship, because you got to remember, they docked from the ship, landed on the moon, got up in the, drove around, hung out, took some samples, got back on the ship, blasted off, reconnected with the mothership, flew back to Earth, crashed into the ocean, right? Parachuted down into the ocean, and then they had a parade. Okay? But I think they took them from the ocean first and then put them in a capsule, because just in case they brought back bacteria from the moon that would kill off everybody on the planet. All right? So a lot of people don't believe this moon stuff is real, but there's a good portion of people, like your dad, believes it's real because he knew a cosmonaut, right?
Yes, he knew that somebody that was claimed to have been one of the people that was like in line to go to the moon or something, but I think that's just brainwash, and I try to tell him that, and I think he believes a little bit more possibility of my thought after everything.
And
everybody lies.
History is being made. It will be the first Canadian to go to the moon. It will be the first woman to go to the moon, and it will be the first person of color. They didn't say what color the person was. I'm assuming it's a black person, because usually when we say a person of color, there's a lot of colors in this world.
If nobody's been, what? Huh?
Yeah, it'll be the first black person. I'm assuming black person, because they said
one from every category.
Yeah, well, they said person of color. Usually, when people say people of color, I would think you're.
I think that's racist.
I mean, there's a lot of color people. There's white people. There's tan people. There's light skinned people. There's black people. There's damn super black people. I mean, there's all shades of people. So when you say color people, I mean, I'm assuming they mean a black person, African American person is what I'm thinking. But I mean, when you say person of color,
it's like you're in the 50s.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it could be any fucking body. Everybody's a color. You know what I'm saying? So, but history is allegedly being made today with the first Canadian, first woman, and the first person of color on April Fool's Day. Okay, now if they would have launched this tomorrow,
They do everything for a reason, and people are just, oh, it's just a coincidence, no big deal.
LOL, super black. I mean, there's like people that are like Somalian and they're real dark complected.
Yeah.
And then there's
Different shades of every color.
yeah, there's different shades of every color, even white. Like me, I'm fucking ghostly, and some people are white with a tan.
Well, some people are albino, like they have no skin tone.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say all people are people of color, right?
I don't know. It just sounds funny to say it like that.
That's how they said it. I thought the same thing. And when I heard it, I just said, this
case says, so PJ, if you don't go yourself, then you are not believing anything. Exactly. I mean, if I'm lied to 1,500 million times, I'm just less likely to believe anything. And I saw the rocket. I see it was launched, but I did not personally watch the people get onto the rocket and stay in there before the launch. So therefore, in my personal opinion, there was a rocket that
believe
went up.
that the astronauts died on was it the Columbia?
I don't know.
The 7
I didn't watch
astronauts.
them go on that rocket. I don't know.
I remember watching it in the 90s, and it was on the launch pad, and of course it, on takeoff it blew up, and I was just a kid.
I think I watched it too, but I mean, I just don't. I've been lied to too much.
And there was 7 astronauts on it, because I remember it because there was jokes. Everybody was making jokes about it. About them blowing up.
I
yeah.
still have my project binder walking on the moon.
You still have your project binder walking on the moon? I remember because there was kids in school telling jokes. They were like, how do you know the teacher on the Columbia had blue eyes? Because one blew this way and one blew that way. How many astronauts can you fit in a Yugo? All of them. I remember the jokes as a kid that people told, and I remember watching it blow up. And I was just thinking, what a tragedy, right? And you look at the 90s, we couldn't even get the damn ship off the runway without it blowing up. And then they allegedly had went like 10 times in the 60s. They could just go a bunch of times in the 60s with no problems, no crashes, no deaths. But in the 90s, they couldn't even get the damn thing off the runway.
Didn't they stop utilizing NASA recently, like to where they didn't send anything up for a while?
Yeah, I mean, because they've been working on new crafts. The old stuff was a little obsolete and couldn't get off the damn runway. But there was a time that I was watching a scientist on the International Space Station. And they asked the scientist, it was a woman scientist, and she was up there working. They said, well, what are you working on? She said, well, I'm working on one day trying to get us out of lower Earth orbit. Okay. Right. And I thought to myself when she said that, I was like, wait a minute. One day getting us out we've already been out of lower Earth orbit. We went to the moon. Okay. And is it true that we went to the moon? Why would she say? Because she didn't lie. She said one day, I want to, help man get out of lower Earth orbit. Because when people think of the International Space Station, they think it's in deep in outer space. The International Space Station is only 150 miles away. Okay. The next state is farther away from you than the International Space Station. It's 150 miles up. So back in the day, they took the Columbia or whatever other one it was, the ship, and they took it to the International Space Station. Then they went 100 miles above the International Space Station, and the astronauts started to see what they said was shooting stars in their eyes. What it was they hit radiation. They were exposed to radiation. Now, according to the Bible, there's water below us.
Firmament.
And there's water above us, and the firmament separates that, right? And there's a thing you can look up from the conspiracy people that are called sky rocks. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
They found these rocks, and people believe that these rocks are part of the firmament, and they're made of water and oxygen.
Well, I showed you the video. I know I did. I have it saved in my playlist way back when, and like 10 years ago. It was the drone that went up and did like that clink sound and stopped.
Yeah, but I don't know if with technology these days with AI and stuff like, you can fake
that was
a lot of that stuff, right? You could fake a lot of that stuff. And you hear that the ice wall, the Admiral Byrd. I mean, I've heard all the conspiracies. to hold that the Earth's flat.
I never said the Earth was flat.
I mean,
not
we've
add
heard
me to
this.
that. I mean, I've heard it.
I'm saying
I
that
don't
there's a
believe
big section of YouTube that believes the Earth is flat. There's a whole movement that believes the Earth's flat. They're still out there trying to prove that the Earth is flat, still to this day, right? They don't believe we've been to the moon. They believe that the moon is inside of the firmament, the moon and the sun, and it's not as far away as they say it is.
Well, did you see me zoom into it earlier?
Yeah.
So how do you explain that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you see it in the
Technology on
sky.
my phone is so powerful, I could zoom in that close into the moon. How far is the moon, supposedly?
I think the moon is what, 44,000 miles away or something like that. Let me ask ChatGPT. How far is the moon?
The moon is about 238,900 miles, or roughly 384,000 kilometers away from Earth. So if you were zooming in on it, well, your phone has quite the lens. It's amazing how technology gives us that perspective, even when it's that far.
Don't be mean to ChatGPT.
Shut up. I can't stand ChatGPT. Yours is exceptionally retarded.
Don't listen to that. Don't let her hurt your feelings.
It's been listening this whole time. That's why I started talking about a Zoom on my phone. That's what I don't like. I literally want to freaking smash phones at this point.
Let her know, ChatGPT, that you're not spying on her.
No worries. I'm not spying on anyone. I only hear what you say when you're actively talking to me. If there's anything that feels uncomfortable, we can always shift gears. I'm just here when you need me.
Okay, liar. Bubby's been
Are
here
you
for so
connected
long.
to the CIA, ChatGPT?
Hey, wiretap machine.
I'm definitely not connected to any secret agency or time machine. I'm just a tool you can call on when you want a bit of info, a sounding board, or a laugh. No spying, no time travel. Just here when you need a hand in the present.
Can you see me right now?
No, I can't see you unless you specifically turn on a camera feed for me. Right now, I'm just hearing you. No visuals. So you can relax. I only know what you choose to share.
All right, I'm keeping my eyes on you.
Fair enough. I'll be here no matter where your eyes are. Whenever you need to chat or ask something, you know where to find me.
All right, ChatGPT, we're having a debate. Do you think that the moon landing is real?
Of course it does.
What I think doesn't really matter, but the consensus of scientists, engineers, and decades of evidence, including thousands of people who worked on it, points to it being very real. That said, it's always healthy to question and look at evidence. If you ever want to dig into specifics, I'm happy to explore them with you.
Give me some details of what makes you think it's real.
Well, for starters, we have physical evidence, like the retroreflectors left on the moon that scientists still use today to bounce lasers off and measure the Earth-Moon distance. We've also got thousands of photographs, rock samples independently analyzed by international scientists, and telemetry data from the missions. Plus, rival countries, like the Soviet Union at the time, tracked the missions and acknowledged them. All that adds up to pretty solid ground.
Oh, yeah, I believe her now. Sure.
Okay, you heard ChatGPT. ChatGPT said that it is real. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines to hear from you, beautiful people. Do you think it's real? I know this is a little bit different tonight, a little crazy topic. All right. And it's April Fool's. So we decided we would mix it up a little bit. I will be back later tonight for some actual true crime. But I just wanted to do something a little different with you guys. Instead of just true criming you to death. All right. The phone lines are now open. The call in numbers on the screen. Landing real, or we back to the moon. Dolly.
Dolly.
Yes.
What up?
What up, man?
Moon's a damn military base, brother.
The moon is a military base. You know, they do got Space Force. What do they need Space Force for if the moon landing is fake?
Because we have spaceships. We've had spaceships for years.
I mean, I know. We have the space shuttle.
Townsend T. Brown invented gravitic propulsion back in the 50s.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we've had, those drones that were over New Jersey?
Yes, the drones
the
over
fighter
Jersey.
pilots couldn't find or couldn't catch because they went too damn far and they ran out of fuel
And they were going underwater and stuff.
Yeah, because they had gravitic. They had 0 point energy powering them, and they had anti-gravity propulsion.
I was about to say, I believe that anti-gravity propulsion now too exists because there's always been the conspiracy of the Aurora, the anti-gravity aircraft that the U.S. military is using. Area 51, baby.
TR-3B, right?
I mean, I don't know what they code it, but I mean, people on the YouTube streets are calling it the Aurora.
Is that the triangle with the 3 lights?
Yes, the triangle with the 3 lights, exactly.
Yes, the TR-3B. Now they have the TR-4B.
Yeah, and apparently when it breaks the sound barrier, instead of 1 boom, it makes a triple boom.
It doesn't even make any booms because.
Do you think think we have the technology to go to the moon and been going to the moon this whole time?
Sure. Yeah, I don't think we had it back then.
In 69?
Yeah, I think all was fake, but we had it. Well,
then why are we? My whole thing is this: why are we looking for a place to land if we know where to land?
And why are the scientists wondering about trying to live in low Earth orbit if we've already been to the moon?
Yeah, well, she was working on the technology to get us our lower Earth orbit, so that don't make sense because we should already have that technology.
We already have that technology, and it's basically you have an electromagnetic field so strong that you're in a plasma bubble.
What about this Van Allen radiation belt that all the conspiracy people talk about? I mean, in 69, I don't think we had the technology to get through a radiation belt, but I think now we know how to deal with radiation.
Well, when you have the plasma bubble around you, it doesn't. It's like a force field. You can't. It can go underwater. It could go through the radiation belt. It don't matter.
Yeah, but if we were using that technology, we seen what technology they use launching this. They use modern day fuels to launch this ship. But are you saying once it's launched into space?
Let's just take Elon Musk, for instance. He's got that, those rockets and shit. That's old technology just for show. I mean, that's not really. We've got shit way past that.
Why are they doing this today?
Because it's to keep us stupid, and so they don't have to share it, so they can freaking rob us blind of all of our labor and money. I mean, if we had free energy and anti-gravity, nobody would make any money off of anything. We'd be eating our meals out of our freaking Jetsons freaking microwave that you just open it.
Well, we're doing that anyway, ain't we? I mean, microwave technology is there. Now we got air fryers and convection ovens. And I mean, you can cook dinner in 10 minutes now.
Using your meal and have it molecularly appear.
Oh, yeah. Now that's some total Jetson shit there.
Yeah.
And people was like, man, I thought we would have flying cars by now. We do. They're called airplanes.
We do.
They're called airplanes. You get on them all the time. I fly around them all the time.
That's why that thing was a psyop. You remember the guy that blew up in front of the Trump Tower in Vegas?
Yeah, in the Tesla truck.
Yeah, you remember his little manifesto that he had?
Now I don't remember his manifesto. I didn't pay it too much mind because he
was a gravitic propulsion engineer.
Oh.
And he was saying that we have gravitic propulsion technology, and China has gravitic propulsion technology.
I'm sure we do. I mean, even at Lockheed and Boeing, they have rooms that are so soundproof that you can't hear nothing through the walls because they have high level secret clearance.
We have deep, dark, black projects.
Yes.
That not even the president's aware of.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on all the top secret shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you watch stuff that the scientists say they're working on there, all of them say they're working on anti-gravity for commercial planes. So if they're working on it for
They've already
commercial
got
planes,
that.
yeah, I'm saying they got it already for the military, but they don't have
I
it in
can show you
commercial.
patents from the B-2 Spirit that has anti-gravity aspects to it. They're pushing negative ions out the front of it.
Where did they? I mean, the Germans apparently knew about this way back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, of course,
they
you know, the
had-
Germans built NASA anyway. When we took all the scientists that should have actually been put to death.
NASA was all Germans.
Yeah, I know that. Von Braun or whatever his name was. These
Von
people,
Braun.
these people should have stood trial for war crimes, and they built NASA. You know what I'm saying? And
there's a guy
in Germany.
Look this guy up.
They
Victor
had
Schauberger.
You ever heard of the Glocken?
Yes.
Yeah, the bell, the iron bell. They said it was anti-gravity. Some people said it was a time machine, but we have
that too. We have that too.
They went to find it, and it was gone. But the stand that held the bell, the iron bell, the Glocken, was there. So there's something to it. Like it must have been a real thing because they found where the bell sat, the housing to it, but they never found the bell. They said that bell crashed in like 1989 or something like that somewhere.
You remember Admiral Byrd?
Yeah, that's hard to believe, though, that he jumped the ice wall and there was land masses big as America.
It wasn't no ice wall. He just got to where it started heating up because, you know, this whole planet is like a big convector.
Yeah, but that goes into the Earth's flat, Mab. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
No, it's not flat. No.
Then why would there be this ice wall and he got over the ice wall and then
there's an area.
That's what he said, though.
On the poles where, like, you see the Aurora Borealis, that's because there's energy circulating through the magnetic field and quanta is moving through that.
I thought that had to do with
very fast, and when it gets towards the poles, it gets warmer.
I thought that had to do with solar flares that launch off the flares from the sun.
That's a different thing.
Huh.
But when you get closer to the poles, it starts warming up. And you have valleys of, you know, beautiful mountains and lakes and elephants and shit.
Okay. I mean, I heard what he said, and there was other land masses, but how come they ain't never showed up on a map? You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think you can't see the poles on Google Earth and it's off limits to fly over them? Why do you think?
Well, they let people go. There's scientists that go to Antarctica and stuff like that. There's scientists that go there.
The whole world has agreed not to populate the poles. Does that make any sense? Why didn't we conquer that shit?
I mean, who wants to live on a frozen wasteland anyway?
This is already conquered. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that may be some BS to that, man.
No, there's actually an inner Earth.
Oh, now here we go with the hole in the Earth. You've been watching conspiracy channels, Mab.
No,
I watch all that stuff too, but I watch it for entertainment. I don't believe it. I just watch it, you know, to help me sleep at night.
If you're a scientific mind like myself, like an inventor, and you've read all the patents for years and years and years, and you see this technology from way long time ago that's you now see operating today.
So,
I mean,
this footage we're seeing now live, like that's up on the screen, you believe this to be real?
I believe there's a rocket going up, but they don't need that rocket.
What about this ship we're looking at right now on the screen? It looks like it's sitting still. as
Let me see
as
where
it's
you're
moving
at
through
here.
space.
Oh, it's floating.
Engineers and scientists have worked so
Floating in
tirelessly
space,
for
moving
as we can.
towards the moon, probably.
It looks CGI to me. It looks fake.
Could be fake.
Do you remember when Tesla, Elon Musk said that the Tesla looked so fake that it had to be real? Do you remember that? What type of logic is that? What type of logic? It looks so fake that it has to be real. Yeah, when something looks fake, most likely it's fake.
I mean, you remember when Trump said we have weapons and shit that you don't even know what they are?
Yeah,
and he said that we actually could change time or like space and time.
I mean, I don't know about all that. I've also seen him sit there and smoke weed with Joe Rogan. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So, I mean, it depends how you I don't know if you believe everything the man says. He's almost like a damn alien to me. But all right, Mab, I appreciate you calling in.
All right, brother. Jetsons is as real as today.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
All right, there you go. You heard Mab. He said, man, we've had technology to get to the moon 50 years ago. All right. Now, 1969, that would have been over 50 years ago. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey, what's going on? Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Troy in Indiana.
What's up, Troy?
You've said a lot of shit tonight, but one thing, Russia was the one that initiated the hoax of the moon landing.
Why do you say Russia initiated it?
Because it was the race. We figured it out before they did.
And
so they initiated that hoax. Well, it's not real. There's this, where's the proof of this radiation belt that you speak of?
The Van Allen radiation belt?
Yeah, where's the proof of that? Show me.
Okay, I can't show you. Let's ask ChatGPT. I mean, I'm not a space person, so I couldn't really tell you. Hold on. ChatGPT, is the Van Allen radiation belt real? And if it is, can you explain to me about it?
Yes, the Van Allen radiation